How are you? All right, if you can read my notes, you can't, and it's possible that I can't, which could be exciting today. I'm so happy to be able to talk about the story of Mean Stinks and how it got started. But before I go into the 3 years that Mean Stinks has been progressing, I kind of want to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the skeptic that isn't sure that causal marketing really works when it comes to the business and the growth of the business. We all, I think a lot of us, when we're in this room, and we've heard a lot of it today of meaningful, purposeful brands, and we nod because it would make us feel really bad as people if we didn't agree. It's kind of like with fail forward and fail fast. I say that a lot with a lot of energy, but man, I don't like failure. It's not easy for me. So I appreciate the skeptic, and it's something I keep asking myself. And so the first thing I want to do is sort of just be clear about what's been happening with the business since Mean Stinks became part of our program. And I can't talk numbers, because I promised I wouldn't, but I can, hand on heart, tell you that since we launched the program, loyalty has gone up, sales have gone up, and retail relationships have been very strong. And a lot of it has been attributed to the Mean Stinks program. And we haven't invested a ton into this program. We've been doing it very grassroots, very organically, which I think has been the right way to do it. But I get excited when I think if we're seeing these kind of results with the investments we've made so far, what possibly could happen to the brand if we lean into it even harder as an investment. Also, this quote I find very interesting. 93% of American consumers say they have a more positive impression of companies that support cause marketing. They're also 90% more likely to trust and to be more loyal. I think this is where the business is headed. It's exciting for me because the reason I stay in advertising is because I do believe that we can do meaningful things as well as make money and push the economy forward. That's what excites me. That's what makes me get excited about getting up every morning and going to work for companies, products, and brands. It's also why I joined Leo Burnett 4 years ago, because they have a philosophy built into the company called humankind. And it's kind of simple and kind of lovely, which is that when we look at advertising and marketing that we're going to take to our partners, we don't say, is this an ad we like or don't like? We actually say, is this an ad that can start a conversation or people might be able to participate in? And that doesn't mean they have to do something. Participation can be as much as just emotionally nodding along or agreeing. And on the scale, what I like about it is when we get up into when we really think we're doing a great job for clients, the work should first, hopefully, make you think and feel something different. If we're doing our job really well, maybe it will change the way people live. And on our best day, we believe we have the ambition that we can maybe change the world. And that's a big, audacious statement to think the business we're in, we could change the world. But I think that's what makes being in this business exciting. And so, when you say change the world, I was reminded, about a couple of months ago, we were recording Malcolm McDowell, who had been participating in a Sprint honors campaign that we did with James Earl Jones and Malcolm McDowell. And this reminded me of just how much power we have in this world when it comes to communication. He said, I thought I was famous when I did Clockwork Orange. I had no idea what fame was like until I did the Sprint campaign. We have a lot of power. People listen to us a lot. So I asked, when I got to Leo Burnett, I asked everybody, I said, look at your brands and bring me one humankind idea, just one for each brand. Because quite frankly, if you're lucky enough to find a true humankind idea, this one's lasted 3 years. So here's where the journey started. A creative director, Becky Swanson, came in and she said, this is my humankind idea. She said, I work on the Secret brand and I have these t-shirts, and I took them to the client and I asked them if they would make them and we could distribute them to girls, and that would be a very nice thing to do. And I said, well, what did they say? And they said, well, they didn't understand what the brand had to do with this. And I was like, well, where is the brand? And she said, well, I really don't think the brand should be in front of this act. I think that looks self-serving. So maybe it'll be in the tag in the back, like Secret, from Secret. And I said, I think I know why the client probably didn't get on board, because I recall a long time ago reading about, I think it was Coca-Cola, that said they had this statement, get caught doing something good. I don't think that's the way we work today. I don't think brands can be caught doing something good. I think, referring back to that statement, brands have to actively be doing good. I think people are putting their money towards brands that they feel are making a meaningful difference in their life. So we started talking about, all right, let's talk about it now with that, thinking about that. And another part of the humankind philosophy, and I think most of us have these kind of words, we all have different semantics for it, but these are ours, which is, it's a very simple wheel where we start with people. What are people doing? We look at the purpose of the brand. We create something that we think the people will participate through the brand, and we hope that that gets us to populism. So just people, purpose, participation, populism. So what were people doing when this T-shirt idea came up? This. Bullying had gone from being something that we all know happens throughout basically all of our lives, but it had gone from something that kind of happens in schools to actually an epidemic, and probably because of anonymity provided by social and mobile. It had gotten to a point where we were talking about lives were on the line. Definitely people this was happening to people. And it was interesting because those people were starting to experience this behavior just about the same time that they were starting to think about a product like Secret. So that made sense. Then we went to purpose, and fortunately, Mark Pritchard started talking about purpose a lot earlier than, right now. And so we actually had a purpose written when this anti-bullying idea came up. And it's to help women of all ages live fearlessly. And I think John Hayes said something lovely this morning that I truly believe about purpose, and we have to be careful, is purpose really, you don't claim it, you kind of are it. And we can call it the North Star or our DNA, but it has to be authentic to the brand. And until you can be authentic, I think you have to be very careful about declaring a purpose. And for me, Secret's purpose had been around a long time. And when I was in high school, I remember Secret saying, strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. And I have to tell you, being a 15-year, 16-year-old girl in South Carolina, this was not what I imagined I would be doing. But I saw advertising like this and other things that were happening in the world, and I started to think about maybe setting sights on different things for me to do. So I just pointed out, because I think Secret, this is not a new purpose for Secret. It's been in my life as a fearless supporter of women moving forward for quite a while for me. What I love about purpose is that it allows you to work above the brief. And I know for me, whenever I hear clients complain about us, is they say, you just deliver the brief, you just deliver what we ask. And I think if you're looking at people and you are aware of your brand's purpose, you can always work above the brief, and you can always bring ideas that are interesting to your client and meaningful and will probably push their business. This is a reason I have a little bit of an issue with where we're moving as a business into a lot of projects and sort of vendor-like relationships with clients, because I think it could hurt this partnership that allows us to work above what we're asked to do. So we started working above the brief, and when we did that, we took the client a couple of ads. And they were pretty simple, and this one says, Colin, your face looks like a pretty flower, and Cara B is a lovely person. And then it just said, say something nice behind someone's back at Facebook. So we thought, this isn't a big ask, it's a little act, but it could get us started. And the client was really appreciative, but there was an issue, which is they have a very busy schedule, and it's kind of leaned out, and they said, well, we love it, it makes sense for our brand, we get it, but we don't have a place to put it in the schedule right now. And we understood, but at least it was out there, and I'm a big proponent of just put stuff out there, because sometimes great things happen. And what happened here was there was a magazine insertion that was meant to have an ad in it, and for some reason the claim or the message didn't work out, and we didn't really have any content to put in the space that was bought in the magazines. So the client, knowing this was out there, said, maybe this is a good time to, try out Mean Stinks. And this is really important because I think a lot of times when we have, this really was just a Facebook idea. It was some nice graffiti that girls could pass around. But what I think made this an important start to this campaign is it had a 2-week run in national magazines with some high exposure. They also got Amber Riley, who has a bullying story, to do some PR for us. And then Starcom did a Facebook roadblock the day the campaign launched. And on that first day, we gained 200,000 Facebook fans. So it's very important that the idea was nice, but I think that we have to remember that we talk a lot about, and then people came. But most of the time when I see people joining us, they're joining us because we have advertised what they need to join. Within a few months, it became the first P&G beauty brand to surpass 1 million likes. So I think this is the future of testing, because what it did to us is it said we were onto something that was meaningful to people that I think are meaningful to us. And the other thing we did is we used this as a social listening tool, no duh, but we learned, the girls started telling us what they wanted from us. And one of the things they said was, it's great that we're doing these one-on-one initiatives and we're all being nice to one-on-one, but we would like to do something together. So in year 2, just listening to what they were asking for, we started this little idea, and it was called the Blue Pinky Pledge, which I did today. And it was a very simple act. And again, looking at what girls were doing, girls were starting not only to care about manicures and pedicures, but they were expressing themselves on their fingernails with, where they went to school or what sports they loved. So we thought that's easy, and then they can express something. So all we did is said, paint your pinky blue and take the pinky pledge and say that you will not bully, will not tolerate bullying, or will not be bullied. And we also couched this in a hashtag participation idea, which was called hashtag Gang Up for Good. And the hashtag Gang Up for Good was also important because we also gained up all this good stuff that was happening on a lot of platforms. I go back and forth about whether brands need, like this is meanstinks.com. I keep looking back here, it's over there. Meanstinks.com. But what we did is we aggravated all the social platforms that were coming in with this Pinky initiative and all sorts of other things. And so we didn't define where the girls had to participate. So they're doing it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But we did make it a place where they could see all of the activity. We also provided a lot of things like posters and T-shirts and phrases and art clippings that they could feel free to use to take out. We said, steal these ideas and go take them into your community. And the Blue Pinky, it just went on and on and on and on. E said, we'll give it 2 weeks until painting your pinkies blue is a top fashion trend. Hashtag Gang Up for Good was trending in the US. So, it's really when you start engaging this community and having a conversation, exciting things happen. We even had the girls, actually the client said, why don't we do a SKU called Mean Stinks? And this was a special SKU that we gave to retailers, to create those good relationships. And it's heavily sought after. The girls designed it or helped design it. I saw it on a Facebook feed when we first launched this. It was like, which scent do you prefer? Powder Fresh, Ooh La Lavender, or Mean Stinks? Everybody wanted the Mean Stinks scent, so Mean Stinks isn't even, it's not a good scent. So it just shows you that, an emotional idea beats Ooh La Lavender. And then we made a film, and I was really excited. It was a 15-minute film. It was kind of sort of like a Clueless, over-the-top thing. It's a simple story, and I'm going to show you a clip of it, where a late bloomer basically cast a spell on an early bloomer who's a bully, and she basically says she's Mean Stinks, and every time she initiates a bullying behavior, she starts to smell. So this is a little bit of what we shot. Oops, sorry.
The highlight of the kit was the short film Metamorphosis, an interactive scratch-and-sniff sensory movie that shows that mean truly does stink.
What's that smell?
It smells like the junior varsity wrestling team.
Dude, your car isn't smelling so new.
It smells like cabbage stuffed with kitty litter.
When I'm mean, I stink.
So we did this film and we kind of put it out on Vimeo and nothing happened. So we rethought it, and John Sebastian at P&G had a great idea. He said, well, why don't we put an assembly kit together and give it to high schools? Maybe that would be interesting. We have all of these things to put together. And so we put this kit together and we sent it out to high schools. And do I have another slide or no? Okay, so we took it to high schools, and it was a high school in Harlem. It was terrific. We had a great time. Demi Lovato actually showed up and helped us launch that piece. And then the next year we said that went well with one school, so why don't we do it in a lot of schools? And I'm just going to let this video show you what we did this year.
Every year, as new students enter high school, a new problem is getting more and more prevalent: bullying. 4 years ago, Secret Deodorant launched the anti-bullying program to help girls, with painting your pinky nail blue as a sign you stand against bullying. This year, we wanted to start a bullying discussion at schools across America. But how do you get schools across the country to come together? We partnered with Google and used their Hangout technology in a whole new way, with not just 10 people, but thousands, to hold the first nationwide live streaming assembly. Not just any assembly, the biggest assembly ever.
And welcome to Secret's Mean Stink's biggest assembly ever.
In October, Anti-Bullying Month, we had over 400 schools rearrange their schedules to join us. Hundreds of schools and thousands of students watched the assembly via live stream on meanstinks.com and made comments and asked questions on Twitter. On the live video feed, we featured 9 hero schools who have all experienced major bullying problems. We added excitement with our host, anti-bullying expert Alexis Jones, founder of the popular blog I Am That Girl. To keep the kids engaged, we then invited Zendaya, 17-year-old pop singer and Disney Channel teen star, to join us and share her experiences with bullying. We also honored the impressive anti-bullying efforts of Granada Hills High School with the first ever Mean Stinks Nicest School in America trophy. Granada Hills had been rattled by a bullying-related suicide and then rallied with a robust, inspiring anti-bullying program. Their trophy represents much more than a sports or academic championship. It honors the students' daily efforts to create a culture of support and nice. The response was not only enthusiastic, but kind, supportive, and even remorseful. The event increased our site traffic by over 450% and earned over 400 million media impressions, with virtually no paid media support. The assembly was simply fueled by the school's passion, Zendaya's commitment, and the Mean Stinks online community's dedication, making this assembly truly the biggest assembly ever.
So there was one other school that we wanted to honor who wasn't a part of the Google Hangout, but it was the Buchanan High School in Buchanan, Michigan. And actually, Brittany Schmidt is here today, and I wanted to bring her out and just talk to her very quickly about what she's done with the Mean Stinks program in her high school and her community. So Brittany, will you join me for a quick conversation? Hi. Sorry, we don't have a lot of time, but this is very important. How did you find out about Mean Stinks?
Through the website. Our principal, Mrs. Steinke at our high school, had found out about it through the website.
Okay, and you first started just using a lot of the assets?
Oh, definitely. The Pinky Swear Promise, the Write Nice wall, which is where you write positive things, quotes, words that inspire you. So they are displayed in our high school. Almost every student had wrote a quote, and it's hanging, so anybody looks at that wall when they're having a bad day or something's going on.
That's great. And you do a Mean Stinks pep rally.
Oh yeah. We travel to the middle school and our elementary schools, and we have a pep rally where we teach them chants, but our main thing is we focus on skits. We're educating them how to prevent bullying or how to handle bullying if it arises in our school. So we have skits orientated towards middle school and elementary school kids. So like at the middle school, we have texting skit where bullying through social media or their cell phones, and we show them how to stop the problem and get help from an adult.
That's great. And you told me, tell me about the coach that said how much fun these pep rallies have become. What's happening?
Oh, he's saying that the Mean Stinks program is one of the only programs in the school that is taking kids off the basketball team and into the stands instead of vice versa.
That's pretty great. And this rallying cry, it's become sort of colloquial in the community?
Yeah, well, our spirit team at Buchanan High School, we are the Buchanan Bucks, and our spirit team calls ourselves the Herd. So anytime Mean Stinks is said anywhere in the community, if it's the McDonald's, the drugstore, anywhere, Mean Stinks is said, somebody will chime in with heard that. So it kind of goes back and forth. We can have little 5-year-olds to grandmas. Everybody is chiming in with heard that anytime Mean Stinks is said.
And what prompts Mean Stinks being said?
Mean Stinks being said is when something bad is happening. If you see somebody picking on or name calling, so it kind of brings attention to the bullied, so they're knowing that they're doing something bad.
That's great. And one last question, which is what I started, which is, part of what we have to do is move product and make you feel good about Secret. And I just want to know, do you use Secret?
Of course. We have about 4 Targets that are around where I live, and anytime the Mean Stinks deodorant, I use it ever since I've gotten the free samples.
We don't like that
part. But everybody in our school uses it, but the Mean Stinks is sold out everywhere. Any Target, we cannot find it anywhere. My grandma, my mom, they're always trying to find it to pick it up because we all use that same brand. But even the boys are starting to use the Secret for females. So they won't admit it, but I know they use it because my dad even uses it at home. He'll use one of mine or my mom's or my sister's. So I know all the boys are using it, and I know some of you men out there use Secret as well.
It's truly a secret for them.
Yes, it's your secret.
Well, Brittany, thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure, and thank you for everything you're doing, because without you using the program and pulling it out there, it wouldn't do what it's meant to do. So thank you. Thank you all.